Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Valheim series. Today we're going to start a little bit different here. As you can see from a very happy Haldor, I have just bought a whole bunch of fishing bait. And we already have a fishing rod on us. And this is literally the first time I have ever tried fishing in Valheim. So I'll leave my cache there because that's really the only place I can use it anyway. And we're just making sure that the beloved Lox still, loves us. So to start things off with fishing, you need a rod, you need some bait. You can start off with just the basic purchased bait. Any of the advanced bait, it's usually just a combination of a selected trophy and the baseline bait to create something at a higher level. So we're going to make a little bit of that in a moment, just with some troll, trophies that we had. We don't end up using any of that bait because after having a chat with my mate Itchy, he told me that you're just better off using only the basic bait for ages, just while you're grinding your skill up. And that's really all I'm trying to do. I just want to do a little bit of pre-grinding with my fishing skill so that when it comes time to try and, fish up some awesome stuff down the track, it's not going to be such an exercise to try and get it caught up. Now, you can't make the basic bait, you have to buy that. But any of the advanced bait, you make all of it in the cauldron. I'm not sure I'd want to eat anything out of the cauldron after I just had a troll head in there, but hey, luckily it's just a game. Now, to start off with fishing, you're probably going to want to do it in meadows because that's the lowest level area. And you want to go somewhere like this where you can see there's like a school of fish and they're quite close into shore. So first thing, you equip your fishing rod and you can see the instructions are down the bottom. You can cast with mouse 1 and you pull it in with mouse 2. Now, as you can see, I only just clicked mouse 1 and it did the minimum cast, and clearly it's not far enough out. So, oh, hello. I wasn't quick enough to... So what you're looking for is when the little bobber goes down like that, you want to strike with the mouse 2 as soon as you can to try and hook them. So now I've sort of established that that's what you actually need to do. I just think, yeah, I'll cast it right out. There's tons of fish out there. Look at them. Boom, boom, boom. And I've hooked one. But if you look down, you'll see my stamina is going down a lot faster than that fish is coming in. And so if you run out of stamina, you lose your catch. And so it's a balancing act of trying to get close enough to the school of fish to minimize how far you need to cast it. And it's also, you've got to be a bit careful of what fish you've actually got hooked, because even the fish type and size will affect how quickly the stamina drains. This is where wiser people than myself would probably elect to make a little, pier or wharf or whatever you want to call it, to stand on to get closer. And so as long as you don't make it too high above the water, that's actually a really good plan. And I do make one later, but I think I made it a bit too high above the water because it felt like I was, undergoing the same process as what I'm doing here. It was just a bit more vertical. So here we go. We got a big fish on the line, 5 meters, 3 meters, and we caught a perch and a stone. Okay, not sure I'd want to gather stone specifically by fishing, but, catching a perch, that's pretty good. And so we're going to do this for a couple of minutes, except on the day I did this for, half an hour, and, I caught a bunch of fish. I did get my skill up a few points, And, you know, it was kind of fun for a while. But it's definitely something that you would want to do in small doses if you get bored easily. Anyway, here is my little dock that I made. As you can see, it is a little bit high off the water. And yeah, I get a better view of where the school is because I'm above it now, but it's not, you know, casting 5 meters doesn't really go very far at all. And it is close enough for them to bite, and you do catch stuff, but it's a bit kind of deceptive as to where it is because you're pulling it up out of the water. And I realized fairly soon that if the mouse cursor goes over the fish, you can actually just pick it up if it's out of the water. Even though you might be about to run out of stamina, you can still kind of get the fish, so to speak. And as you can tell from my reaction time, I'm going to say this is probably very late in the day that I was doing this, because I am not very quick on the go. Anyway, so many, you know, boring casts later, we have decided to, you know, get on with the task at hand. Now, you're going to see where the mouse is at the moment. I've already explored that bit of swamp. It took me a while and there was a death involved. It ended up being quite a long curving bit of swamp, but at each end of that curve there was a number of crypts. Now down the bottom end I think there's 4, maybe 5. At the top there's 3. So what we're going to be doing in this episode is looking at, you know, trying to get some of that lovely iron back to the boat here, and the long-term plan is to keep doing that until the boat is full or we run out of iron here. Now to date I haven't actually cleared all of this yet. I think I've only done maybe 1 or 2 of the crypts so far. And when you see what's in this swamp, you'll understand why it takes a bit of effort to get everything done. So we're running through this swamp. We have been in here once or twice already, which is why we're not getting, you know, absolutely hammered with stuff already. And these are these towers. Got to, once again, go after the spawner first. And then, you know, kill the Dragger, kill the user, kill another spawner. You know the drill. It's never pedestrian though, because, you know, you will get the occasional rude shock. Ominous foreboding? Maybe. Yeah, didn't have to wait too long with that foreboding. I wasted too much time getting my shield out then. I should have just destroyed the spawner because, yeah, that's not just a 2-star Dragger, it's a 2-star elite. Even in this gear, I am ill-equipped to deal with him in melee. So I remember there's a dungeon around here somewhere, and I dive into it with all due energy, and I honestly expected to zone in dead, because you could actually hear them take a swing at me while I was zoning in. So after I'd spent a bit of time there, you know, changing my underwear, you know, teaching myself how to breathe, and, you know, questioning some decisions in my life, I thought, look, I can't really zone out straight away because they will be literally right there. And the minute I zone out, they'll take 2 swings at me and I'll be dead. So I figure I'm already in here. The goal was to clear, you know, one of these crypts at least anyway. So I figure I'll spend the time clearing the crypt. And then, you know, if they're still outside, they're still outside. I'll just have to try and deal with it. But normally, with the time it takes to clear a crypt, usually mobs have despawned or they've reset or whatever, and they're not usually right at the front door. So we are taking out our stresses on every poor creature in this crypt, because I think it was very rude for this swamp to have given us a 2-star elite Draugr. Anyway, as we are all very familiar with the process of exploring crypts, most of the crypt exploring is going to be done sped up, because, you know, it is a lot of mine your way down this corridor, kill the mob, resume mining, kill the mob, resume mining. So, you know, there's still a lot more of this to do. If you want me to keep including it, I'm happy to do so. But honestly, I'm on the cusp of just, you know, recording the entrance and the results and, you know, warping to the next one. But, you know, leave me a comment down below if you really like to see the gory details, as it were, with clearing crypts. Alright, bit of a customary unload back at the entrance, but I've realised I didn't actually have a convenient chest, so I've just literally, you know, dumped stuff back at the front door. And we're now back to our mining. And our, you know, random exploding of local residents. Alright. Oh, hello. We've got one of our locator stones for bone mass. Well, we're not in that old swamp, so I wonder where this is going to point us. Oh, isn't that interesting? One of those areas that nearly killed us in the big boat actually not only has a few crypts in it, but it also has an alternative bone mass spawner. That's going to be quite handy to know. As I said, if I need further iron than what's available in this swamp, I'll wait until later when I've got better gear, and I'll actually go and raid that swamp in order to get it. So that's not a bad little find. You know, it's kind of funny. These mobs, the blob, you know, they tend to essentially immediately explode when they're even in the vicinity of my, you know, Mark II door knocker. Maybe that's what was wrong with the original Blob movie. They just didn't have a Mark II door knocker to get rid of the blob in the first instance. Maybe there's some life lessons to be gained by that. Alright, well, I've adopted this as my dump chest for now. Let's continue, you know, clearing and see how much more we can dig out of this place. Because, you know, we're going pretty well. But I don't know about you, that mining pick is starting to get a bit low. Alright, and there we go. As predicted, that reasonably well upgraded iron pickaxe does not seem to have, done the hard yards here. And on closer inspection, I compared it with the fully upgraded bronze pickaxe, and the bronze pickaxe actually had 50 more durability. So I don't know, maybe it's just an upgrade level thing, but I feel like the iron one should have had more durability than the bronze one. But anyway, we're going to make our traditional, quick run back to base. We'll repair, we'll pick up our bronze pickaxe in addition to the iron one. And we'll come back here and do a bit of a cleanup exercise in a little bit. Yeah, I honestly think this is Valheim's version of Scum Tetris, but, to each their own. We've now switched our stuff out. We know we've been in here for a while, and we are now back to, bottom clenching preparations. New set of food. We're going to get back up to full health. Got full stamina. We're stealthed up. We're going to have our bow out. And we are going to hope that that 2-star is not outside. But we popped our Eikthyr buff just in case we need to run. So let's see. We're not dead yet, but something can possibly see us. And looking at the way the eye reacted, I'm going to guess that that's just a leech. Oh, hello. We've got our non-elite Draugr there. That's kind of good news that he's by himself. And we got rid of him pretty easily. Of concern though, it is night time. And we're not in a hurry to create a bigger mess than we've already created. Now, the thing I've missed 3 times in a row there is the 2-star elite. So you're now going to get an idea just how hard this guy hits. So we're doing making the mob whiff as much as we can. And we have been able to get out of that pretty cheaply. I'm looking around wondering why I can't pick anything up, but of course we just spent 5 minutes in the dungeon making sure that we were carrying the absolute maximum that we could. So, hooray for being brain dead at this time of the afternoon when I was recording this. So we're doing our fast run back to our outpost over here. We're going to dump the iron into the boat after we make a couple of locals evaporate. And then we'll do a little run back to base back to the crypt, I should say. We'll do a little run back to the crypt and continue to empty it out. In between all of that, we'll go back to base and repair and pick up the pickaxe, as I said. So here we are, back at base, just showing that I am going to now grab our bronze pickaxe. Now, see there, we've got 200 durability. And the bronze one... Oh, stop looking at that. Look at the bronze pickaxe. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to work out what slot I want to put it in, and I've just realised I do need to have my axe out in case I come up against a tree. And now, to save a bit of time, we've just walked back to the dungeon. We can pull out our head torch, and we can get back to the task at hand, which is to continue mining all of this lovely muddy scum pile. Yeah, we've got a reasonable haul so far, but we're not quite done yet. And I can still hear some buzzing, so there's probably still a bit more action to be had in this dungeon as well. Alright, well, we have now cleared this little crypty, and yeah, that's a pretty good run. I'd say that's about average. We ended up with, I don't know, 100-ish kind of iron. That's pretty good. Off to a good start for this swamp. So we now need to do our relay runs back to the boat. And, you know, thanks to the magic of editing and all that, I've cut all of that stuff out just to, you know, value your time a bit. The viewer's time is, of course, very important. And watching me run through a swamp and not really have anything of any note happen is really not that, you know, engrossing to watch. So don't worry, there'll be plenty more footage left on the cutting room floor before the end of this episode. I was debating the merits of making 2 runs back, but I realised I had probably enough of the day left to try and risk a travelling all in one go. And sure enough, I was right. I'd cleared all of the baddies out enough times that they hadn't respawned. And as you can see there, we have our shiny proceeds back in the cargo hold of our beautiful longship. Now, I noticed that there's kind of a river there, and I thought I was going to have a little go at trying to figure out, you know, you can see me there indicating, I'm just thinking, oh, what are the odds that there's a couple of rivers that might take me through there? Now, because this river's a bit on the narrow side, and more importantly, it has a bucket load of rocks in it because it's in a forest biome, I've loaded up 4 stacks of the iron scrap into the little boat, and I'm going to take it for a run down here and just test my theory, because even if this is a narrow river, we're going to be able to make a lot better time getting back to base if we can cut off that whole not needing to go around, you know, the Cape of Good Hope shenanigans. The downside of this, of course, is the risk of running into, you know, I don't know, some overburdening grey dwarves, or, you know, a couple of angry skeletons, or maybe, oh yeah, a troll. And sure enough, on command almost, we have ourselves a troll, and we're thinking if we are very, very quiet, we might be able to slip past him. And yeah, you're kind of dreaming if you think you can slip past a troll in a boat. So we're kind of clenching a little bit, because that thrown rock would have done a lot of damage to the boat had it connected. But now we're in deeper water and we've got a bit more wind in our favour, we can start to open the gap, and eventually the troll gets the hint and he kind of gives up. But all the while, as you can see, there is a lot of rocks to duck, and if we'd taken our big boat through there, I'm not convinced we would have been able to manoeuvre quickly enough through there to stay ahead of the troll. But, you know, leave a comment down below if you reckon you're a bit like Niobe from that Matrix movie, and, you know, you can pilot mechanical lines with a Viking longship. Tell me your stories down below. In the meantime, we're out here in the big waves and I'm exploring the coastline a bit. I think this might be the start of a river, but on closer inspection it isn't. So we're battling into the wind, as is typical in Valheim. Whatever direction you want to go in, chances are there's a pretty high chance that the wind, it's not going to be on your side. But that's alright. It was getting later in the afternoon when I was recording this, and I was sort of only half paying attention and watching some YouTube at the same time, so this taking a bit longer wasn't really bothering me at all. I just had to come back to my keyboard occasionally to make sure I didn't run into something like that rock or that sandbar, and try not to die, basically. Pretty easy thing to do generally. Now, I thought there might have been a bit of a creek entrance there, but turned out that was just a dead end as well. Now, this down here does look an awful lot like a river. And I'm initially feeling fairly positive about it, because I can see all of these lovely forest trees on either side, and I think, right, we're in with a chance on this. Except, on the left there, you can see the border between some green grass and some not green grass. Now, not green grass for a biome is almost always plains. So I'm thinking, is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk? And then I can see that the plains goes basically all the way up to the edge of the creek. So we pull the anchors on that one. I reckon that actually was our way out if we wanted to risk it, but in this boat with this gear, we're not doing that. So at this stage we're making use of our favourable wind and we're heading back up this coastline on the off chance that there's a river here, but having explored the other side of this, I don't think it's very likely. So we've resigned ourselves to having to run the gauntlet of our troll friend, who is now standing in the middle of the channel, doing his best to dissuade us from going up here. But rest assured, my sailing skills are not particularly rudimentary, and I managed to find a gap here that I could sail through. The troll had no awareness on me until it was too late, and now with the wind at my back, we now get the glorious task of doing our little try not to overcorrect exercise while sailing between all of these rocks. And as you can see, that was pretty darn smooth. I feel like I need one of those bumper stickers, Did you like my sailing? Give me a thumbs up. Now, we're reaching the conclusion of this episode. I think it's been quite a productive run so far, and this also brings us to the end of the 10 plus hours worth of footage I recorded a weekend or so ago. Now, if you've been enjoying the series, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you've got any comments or any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you want to make sure you kept up to date with any new releases, make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. In the meantime, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching and have yourself a fantastic day.